Hi, my name is Alex Brown. Today I'm going to be discussing database management systems. One database management system is the most commonly known database management system, I would say, is Microsoft Access. It is a personal database management system, and throughout my discussion I'm going to use Microsoft Access as an example and kind of give you the basics of Microsoft Access. So a quick introduction to Microsoft Access. Microsoft Access can create database tables, it can define a record in record format, it can create relationships, and it can run SQL queries. Database tables are just tables that hold records or data in a proper and easy to view way. A record is a row or basically a file, like a row of a table. That's a great way. That's an easy way to understand it. A relationship is relationships. There are many relationships between tables, so there can be a one-to-one relationship. So one instance in one table connects to one instance in the other table. It's only that one instance every time. There's one-to-many instances. So in a classroom setting, an average classroom setting, there's only one teacher. For a fact, there's only one teacher. So a one-to-many relationship could be one teacher to many students. So for every one teacher, there could be 30 students in an average classroom. And then queries are you can run a query to select specific data from various tables, and then it aligns that data in what looks like in a table. So it just selects specific data from various tables and various spots. So now I'm going to give you a little overview of a database management system. So database management system is not a database. They're commonly confused and very easy to confuse, but a database management system is actually a separate software. So using Microsoft, the Microsoft Office example, so Excel could be a database. You could have many worksheets and many different tables and hundreds of tables, thousands, millions, tons of data within Microsoft Excel, but you could use a database management system like Microsoft Access to modify and maintain the structure and organization and all the data as a whole. So a database management system is not a database, separate software system. Functions of database management system, they enable users to utilize database information more effectively and get the most out of the data that is there. So if you have if you have a pile of data, if you have a billion numbers that you can't make any sense of, they're useless. Database management system helps make use of data. A database makes use of data. Database management system helps you organize that data and make the database as effective as possible. So there are some components of a database management system. The first component is the user. So if I am using Microsoft Access to manage a database, I am the user. It's pretty intuitive, but there's also other components. There's a database application. There's database application and database management system. The application reads or modifies the data via SQL. SQL is a language, like a programming language. I'm not sure how many people are familiar with that, but a programming language is just what creates computer software. So you write code. That code, when you run the code, that's the software. So SQL is essentially a less complex coding language that is used for database management systems, and a database application reads that SQL and helps you to manage the database. So in Microsoft Access, for example, you don't actually have to know SQL because there are buttons and there's an interface, the application. That's what it is. The application reads the data. So when you press a button, it's running a type of SQL or code and things of that nature. So that's what an application is, and then there's the database management system, which creates, processes, and administers the database. So using the Microsoft Access example, Access is actually both an application and system, but with more complex database management systems for business activities and when managing more complex and greater amounts of data, these can be separated. So there are personal database management systems like Microsoft Access, which combines the application system. And then there are there are enterprise class database management systems that are used for businesses, like MySQL, or Oracle is a very large database. Oracle is a well-recognized company. Many college kids would like to work for Oracle. Very highly respected, growing rapidly because the database management system industry, database system, and collecting data and metadata is becoming increasingly important in our society and business environment today, because we have the ability to collect so much information, whether it be on the internet or just like there's so much information out there. Everything is information associated with it. So when companies and businesses and schools and many different entities collect data, they can then use it to market better, or have more effective products, design products better, or it's just the uses for data are endless if you can manage them effectively. So that's why database management system is growing, and that's what a database management system does and the use of it. And then there's the database itself, which is just a record or collection of related records. It's just a bunch of data organized that allows you to make use of it and allows you to understand it, basically. So self-describing collection of related records. Now I'm going to get into the functions of a database management system. A database management system can create database tables, can create a database. Within that database, whether that be metadata. So metadata is data about data, which is crazy if you're not into the whole if you don't know the database and information technology society well, or whatever you want to call it well, that seems a little strange. But so metadata is just data about data. So if I have a row in a table, and one of the numbers in that row is an employee's salary, that salary is formatted probably in a currency form. So it has a $, then the amount, and then a period, and then the amount of cents. So that form is currency. So the fact that it's currency is data about the data. So the fact that it's currency is data about the actual salary, if that makes any sense. You can also create tables. Tables are tables organize information effectively. Tables are actually more complex than an average person would think. There's normalization, which is the formatting. It's the commonly accepted format of tables. So there's that, and then a database management system also reads database data. So it can do that. It interprets the data, and then it can also modify database data. So that can be insert, update, delete, many different things, and you can use this You can do this through SQL. There's a specific language that you can do to modify database data through that. And you can add rows, delete certain numbers from a table. So many things you can do to modify database data. You can also enforce rules of a database using a database management system. So the rule, going back to this employee salary example, one rule is a data format. So the format of the employee salary would be in a currency format. There are many other formats. There are Booleans, which are a Boolean is a true-false statement that's common in programming language. So if I say x is greater than 1, if in a programming language you say if parenthesis x is greater than 1, if x is greater than 1, then a Boolean would return true or yes, and if it's false, it would return or no or false. So that Booleans are actually very commonly used in databases and are incredibly important in programming. A database management system also maintains database structures. They control concurrency. Concurrency controls are how many people can use a database, and with multiple people using the database, what they can see, what they can edit, what they can do. Database management systems also provide security, and they provide backup and recovery, which are incredibly important because the process of collecting data and processing and maintaining it is very expensive. So you do not want to lose that data. So that last function of database management system, performing backup and recovery, is incredibly important. So that's it. Thank you for listening, and I hope I taught you a lot. Thank you very much.